All right, so welcome to the presentation for SRA 111, our research project. The question that we're going to be answering is how secure is too secure in cybersecurity? So it's basically just going over what's the correct balance and how different companies and what are the standards for being secure to a point where you're safe, but you don't have to worry about any productivity flaws in your security. All right, so my section, Chris Kaiser, I'm going over the security's new approach. So this is basically just the new securities that are coming out with technological advancements in society today. So for a background, what caused the new approach, it's just the technological advancements, so smartphones and how easy it is for us to come by internet access, first of all, and how easy it is to access a lot of different things like banking, entertainment, and social networking. And then, like I mentioned just a second ago, the availability is so much more than what it used to be. It used to be you would barely ever find a computer in a home. Internet was hard to come by. Only in high-end places could you get it right whenever it came out. But now, basically anywhere it's available, it's widespread, it's free in most cases. You can find a free internet access point in most towns nowadays. So, personal authentication. This is the correct balance for yourself, not in a company or something that's super important. Yeah, yourself is important, but you're only securing yourself, nobody else. So this is your PINs, password, fingerprints, face recognition, complex hand movements, which can be implemented in certain security aspects, and any combinations for these for your password. And what it really comes down to is personal preference, because you yourself are the only person that can say how secure you want yourself to be. So it's good to practice good security aspects, but you're really the only one that can do it. Nobody else can tell you because you're the one securing your own life. And now there's the principles where comes down to more company approach. So these were recommended by Microsoft. They're risk-based, outcome-focused, prioritized, practicable, respectful of privacy and civil liberties, and globally relevant. So what this is meaning is these are the balance that you have to take in order to properly secure a company or a university or anything that has big social impact in today's world.
Working security. For most of us working in an office, we hope we can work in a comfortable environment, but sometimes it turns out not as we hoped for. Most companies implement security measures in order to keep them safe, like blocking certain websites or applications while you're using company's computer, or force you to use VPN in order to access company's network. But when we think about it in employees' point of view, these measures probably making us feel uncomfortable or not used to it, and that usually lower down our efficiency and productivity. However, Jake Matters, director at Hive Managed Hosting, she said the key is education by teaching employees how to stay secure. What she's saying is letting everyone have risk awareness. In this case, company doesn't need those redundant measures to maintain security, and employees will have much comfortable place to work, therefore increase their productivity. Eliminating risks is always not the only option to maintain security. In order to make sure we're not implementing unnecessary safety measures, we have to understand what kinds of risk that might occur to us. There isn't a definite way to tell if it's too secure or not. It's a relative comparison. It really depends on how many risks you're willing to take. However, there's still something that we can do about it, like CBA analysis, to make sure the company can find the balance between maximum profit and minimum risk.
When considering the fine definition of security, some individuals don't seem to quite grasp the final idea that there is such a thing as too much security. When employees consider a company to be too secure, there's this mismatch that's created between the IT management's view of the security and the rest of the business. Mostly, it means that the company is becoming way too rigid in its security. The rules and policies have gradually expanded and become more restrictive until they are just too rigid to allow the company to compete and innovate and change. This will ultimately lead to companies feeling that it will never change and it will always be like this. Various decisions can affect and lead to more policies and stricter policies. As the security of a company gets more and more secure, the cost and innovation and competitiveness will be passed to the business to make the final decisions. With these incentives being unbalanced that the company will give and not measured correctly, the security of a company can then become way too insecure. These companies keep a distinct measure in their company security, which can ultimately lead to the irrelevance and stagnation of a company's coming down. Finally, having too much or the fact that a company is too secure has nothing to do with the firm's policies that are put into place. They're just simply there to make the company look more secure than it truly is. This can then finally lead to the company facing hardships, confusion, and workers find it harder to comprehend.
What is too much security? Too much security is anything that derives the user experience, anything that makes them not want to use that specific software. Examples of too much security could be too many factor authentications. It could be too slow or glitchy from anti-hacking software that is downloaded onto the device, and also too many steps or verification methods that make the user spend more time on the security aspects rather than their specific task. Additionally, with modern society and advancing technology, the risk of hacking is drastically increasing. There are many more forms of hacking in different ways that don't have any protection yet. With that is the development of smartphones, which drastically escalated cyber danger as they contain information that was previously only stored on computers like banking or any other type of personal information. Where in the past that information would only need to be protected on a computer, now it needs to be protected on a smartphone as well, which costs a lot more money and takes a lot more effort. Also, in today's society, people are typically ignorant about recognizing these actual real cybersecurity threats. Most people believe that a simple username and password is sufficient enough to maintain security, when in reality, they won't learn until they actually face these cybersecurity threats. As today, people are typically stuck in their own views. When it comes to efficient forms of security, two-factor authentication, Face ID or fingerprint scanners, unique passwords with special characters, and anti-hacking softwares are all viable options. They are all pretty efficient while being secure at the same time. Ideally, companies should have many different options for security and allow the user to choose which one they pick. Thus, people who choose efficiency can choose a more efficient but less secure option, while people who value security can choose a more secure option. Overall, at the end of the day, it is really up to the user and the person themselves to actually choose how secure they really want to be. Therefore, there is no correct answer to how secure is too secure. It really depends on the person, but it's extremely important to balance security and efficiency.